Okay, so here we are with the 2007 Chevy Suburban 1500 two-wheel drive. This has got the flex fuel engine. Apparently there is an issue with that particular ground wire, that little ribbon right there. It actually is a ground ribbon is what they call it. It goes down to the back of the engine block. You can see I've added a green wire that goes to the alternator bracket that basically completes another ground. What happens is that ribbon gets brittle. You can't tell that it's actually broken. It creates an issue with the ground. You'll start having some electrical issues up front. The radio will pop. You might get some wayward lights. The TPMS will go off, etc. All kinds of issues, and it's really simple to solve. You just add that little green wire. So there's the fuse block, or not, excuse me, not fuse block, the negative terminal in the firewall. You just add a ground wire from there to there, and you're done. If you don't notice it in time, it will actually blow up the relay. The relay is inside this fuse block, and unfortunately it's not a typical relay, which would normally be something along these lines. For the backup lights, what it actually does is blow out the relay, and that relay is an integrated circuit inside this board. And the only way to fix that is to buy a new board, and hopefully not break the one that you just bought. So I'm going to show you how to change this as I change it. First thing I did was to contact the parts company and ask them to help me with the VIN number and figure out which was the right one to buy. They said if the one they sent me wasn't correct, they would replace it. The only thing that's different between this one and my old one is that 40 amp fuse right there. You can see it's missing here. So you get two 40s and a 60 in the old one, and you've got a 40 and a 60 in the new one. There is a place for the 40, so I'm just going to move that over. But it looks like, from looking at this thing, that it's just a clip-in. It actually has the positive and negative terminals as well, so we'll work through that as we go. First thing we're going to do is disconnect the battery. There's a handy-dandy Stella Artois waiting for success as well. Ta-da! Little plug for them. Anyway, so we'll get right to this and we'll see what happens. So first things first, we're going to take the battery terminal off. Alright, so come over to the battery, open up the little box. That's a 10 millimeter. We're just going to undo this and then pull that off so that it disconnects the circuit. Okay, so you just loosen that bolt, pull that up, and now you have a disconnected battery. While you're doing that, make sure you're really careful not to ground out what you're touching. So in other words, when you're touching the positive, make sure you don't touch the side or whatever with your screwdriver. That'll actually connect the ground, and you could blow your alternator, battery, all kinds of neat stuff, so don't do that. So next, let's see how to take this thing apart. Looks like we just have these little arms, so I'm going to try to just take those out with the other one. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so first thing, there's these little clips. If you can see those right there. So you just push those back. And that just holds the arms down. Oops. Easier to do two-handed. So that lifts up. Alright, so this takes a little persuading. If you look at the bottom of the new one, everything's plugging in. So this has been plugged in since 2007. So it took a little finagling to get that to pop, which I did. And then there's a wiring harness back there that's going to have to be disconnected. So I'm going to do that now and move to the next step. So the wiring harness that we saw was actually this one here lifting up. All I did was to pull that, and it actually disconnected. This looks pretty dirty, so I think I'm going to clean this with some electronics cleaner, like it's a quick dry contact cleaner specifically for this type of thing. So I'm going to go ahead and do that now and see if we can't clean this up a little bit just to make sure all the connections are going to be good. So this is what I'm using to clean the contacts. It's the quick drying electronic cleaner from CRC. So you still have some dirt and stuff down at the bottom. I don't think that's a big deal. So just going to let that dry for a minute. And then we're going to plug the other one in the same way we took the other one out. Okay, that's dried sufficiently, so let's see if we can't put the new one in. Take the new one, try to match it all up, and these have to be up, obviously. I've already added the 40 amp fuse from the other box. Alright, so it looks like it's going right in there the way it's supposed to, and then we're going to lock it all down. Just make sure that everything's in there real good. So, seems like it's in. Now, the reason I installed this is I had the ground wire issue, and it blew out my backup relay, which is actually this fuse here. The bottom of the 10 amps on the right hand side, this one right here. So if your backup lights stay on all the time, whether the car's on or not, this is the one you have to pull to get it to stop. Obviously you lose backup lights, which means you're not going to pass inspection, etc., which is actually why I'm replacing this, so I can actually pass inspection. So if you need to disconnect that, that's where it goes. But like I said, the relay is a circuit board that's actually built into the box, and there's nothing you can do to replace it other than just replace the entire box. I got this from GM Parts Direct. It was under $300 with the discount. If you go to their website, they actually give you a discount code to take a discount off and get a cheaper price on it. So I bought the most expensive one because I assumed, because mine is the LTZ, that it would be the most expensive one, and it turns out it's the right one. They had two options for the same. It was supposedly two different part numbers that fit for the same vehicle for the same year, so it didn't make a lot of sense. So I went with the more expensive one. So I have that all put together, put the cover back on it. Now it's time to put the battery terminal back on. So try it without not too much bouncing around to go ahead and get that in. And then tighten that up and we should be good to go. And we'll give it a test drive. Okay, have the battery terminal all put back together. And we're ready to start it up and see what happens. Handy dandy beer. And no, I am not going to drive this with the beer, so don't even think about it. Alright, here we go. Let's see if she works. Started right up like a champ. Turn all the lights. Alright, sounds like it's good. I'm going to take it for a test ride. Hope that helped you. So again, if you've got one of these big GM vehicles, add that ground wire whether you need it or not, and that'll save you a lot of headache. Have a great day. Cheers.